This is Anna, and this is my reading response to chapters 6, 7, and 10. Chapter 6 is the science of not boring people. In this chapter, he outlines a lot of helpful tools and as to how to engage the audience. One of the most important things he discusses is creating an outline before you start your presentation or your speech. Um, he says that this allows you to get a rhythm. For me, it allows me to keep track of time better and to be more in control of the entire presentation. He also talks about how we can't generally pay attention for more than 10 minutes at a time. And if I'm using an outline, I'm more able to manage that time and be aware of this. I feel like overall, the tools that he gave us in this chapter allow us to be more in control when we get up in front of a crowd. And I think that allows us to be more comfortable, which allows the entire presentation to be smoother. Chapter 2, or the next chapter, is Lessons from My 15 Minutes of Fame. This talks a lot about his experience doing television and the hurry up and wait that happens with that. Um, he describes it as getting very prepared and then having to sit and wait because they're not quite ready, and then getting prepared and not being ready, and just the nerves that go along with that, and not knowing when exactly you're going to be in front of a video camera or a crowd. The other thing that I found most interesting in this chapter is they talked about the fact that we are always in some way performing, if it's through these YouTube videos or just simply speaking in class. We are always speaking in front of a group. For myself personally, where I work, I often, very often, have to speak in a staff meeting in front of 10 to 12 colleagues, and it is a certain amount of performing because I need to be professional and present my ideas well. It's very different than when I'm hanging out with my friends. The other way at work that I feel like I do a lot of public speaking is that most of my job requires me to be on the phone with various clients. And again, that's a form of performance. The professionalism and being careful about what I'm saying and things like that. It is definitely performing in front of an audience of one most of the time. The last chapter is called Confessions, and it just basically goes over some separate ideas that he has, things that he wants to share. So I picked out a couple that really ring true for me. In one of them, he states that he is actually an introvert, which is interesting because he's up in front of a crowd all of the time. I absolutely can relate to this because I have two jobs, and both jobs I'm in front of people all the time, constantly talking to clients on the phone. My phone never stops ringing, and I do feel like I'm performing for a lot of people. And so when work is over and I'm done for the day, I would much rather be at home alone, quiet, relaxing, than continuing to be around a large group of people. I feel like I sometimes can't get enough alone time because I'm always surrounded by people at work and on the phone. The next one that I thought was that he said you can be most interesting by being honest. I think this is very true. Whenever I've attended a lecture or a speech, I think you can tell right away when the person is being genuine, and I think that I'm a lot more likely to want to listen to them and to be more engaged if I feel like they're being genuine. I think that being honest also makes, as the performer or speaker, makes you more comfortable. If I feel like I can be more real and more my true self, I feel like I can be more comfortable, which makes the entire thing go a lot smoother. And the last important thing he talked about was practice, that practice is extremely important. He actually mentions it lots of different times throughout the book. And I've found through this class that that's absolutely true. The more I practice, the more comfortable I am, and therefore the more smoothly things go. So his main point in the Confessions and throughout the book was that you won't be able to be a good public speaker unless you're practicing.